Hello everyone, I'm Yuliia, a senior product marketing specialist here at GetResponse, and in this video, I will show you how to quickly get started with GetResponse MAX. I will walk you through account management, contacts and lists, our main communication channels, reports, e-commerce tools, and integrations and automation. Without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the dashboard. This is the first thing you should see when you are logged into the platform. You can easily customize your dashboard by adding widgets from widgets library and track the data you need the most. Let's start with managing your account. GetResponse MAX gives you one main account within which you can of course operate and the ability to create sub-accounts. Let me show you an example that we have here. When you go to the profile icon on the top right and choose accounts and users, you can see that we have one main account which is Finish Line LLC and sub-accounts is Finish Line Australia, EMEA, Italy, etc. This structure is very useful if you operate in various regions or need a dedicated account for each of your brands. On the other hand, the users are people who work within the accounts, so that will be your team members, admins, and basically any person that is related to the specific brands. So again, you'll want an account when you add a different brand to your business and users to operate within the accounts. You can also assign roles to users and enable them in multiple accounts. Your global account shares limits with other accounts and users as well. When you go to limits, you can see that accounts and users, messages and contacts all have limits. This information is better discussed with your dedicated support person. When you go to manage accounts, email addresses, you can add an email address to your account and you can access your email domains information. You can also configure your domain key identified mail, which is DKIM, for your domain. It can significantly boost your email marketing communications as it lets you authenticate messages using your domain. You can find more information on what DKIM is and how to configure it on this support page here. Now that we have that settled, let's move on to contacts. Here you can manage your contacts and lists in one place. Let's go ahead and create a list. You can create a name for your list, then click on Create, and the list will appear in the first row in here. Then you can go to the three dots on the right, go to Settings, and access or provide general information regarding your list. What can be helpful when it comes to configuring your list settings is that you can customize the footer and pre-header of your mailings and also define language for the confirmation and unsubscribe pages. You can choose a language in here. You can choose to show your postal address in message footer, add a logo and a website. You can customize the address format, and in here I can show you a little trick. In case you also want to include a phone number into your message footer, you can just add a variable in here, put it in the same brackets, and don't forget to separate it with a comma. When you go to the settings, when you go to the second tab, subscription, you can choose to have a double opt-in option that will send an email confirmation to your contacts and ask them to confirm that they agreed to be subscribed to your email list. Once you have your list information ready, you can add contacts to your list. A quick information in here. You can have the same contact in different lists and that will count as a duplicate. So GetResponse MAX math looks like this. One contact in two lists equals two contacts in general contacts number. Now let's add contacts. You can do it by going to the specific list details or you can click on the blue button as we did just now. You have a few options for adding contacts to your lists. You can add them manually, one by one, in case you don't have an extensive list, or you can import a list of contacts. This works best if you have large lists or if you have lots of custom fields. You can upload it as a file connected with the service, paste it from the file, and migrate it from the other platforms. you can select a list for your added contacts. You can choose what to do with contact information and check that you have a permission to add these contacts to your list. You can access contacts information when you go to the list and click on the contact. Here in the contact card, you can see general information like name, surname, email address, list they are in, company, country, subscription details, etc. You can also have an overview on contacts activity and engagement. On the top left, you can find an engagement score with activity, clicks and opens. This bar would increase, and if a contact has not been engaging for a while, this score would also reflect that and would lower over time. What may be most essential information that can be in here is that in here you can add a tag or a custom field and segment by that. The tag will give you a general information that you could use for a broader audience, and a custom field will give you very specific information about the contact. Based on the custom field information, you can better personalize your communication, create segments, conditions in automations, etc. To create a segment, you can go back to search, add conditions, and then save it as a segment that you could access later. You can segment your contacts by their behavior and actions, by demographic, for example, geolocation, by e-commerce features like embedded carts, purchases, and by criteria that you can import like shoe size, height, age, etc. You can later go back to your segments in here. What is also worth mentioning is that segments update automatically. As long as someone fits the criteria, they will be added automatically to the segment. We will touch on the reports a bit later in this video. In the list hygiene, you can delete contacts from your lists and set up rules to clean up your list when a contact bounces. It's recommended to clean up your hard bounces, and you can also export them previously. The suppression list is for situations when you wouldn't want to send your communications to certain contacts, for example, to your competitors. In custom fields, as we have mentioned previously, you can customize any information about your contacts. And also here you can set how you can present or collect custom fields values. In import statistics, you can import your statistics in 3 ways: manually, with API, and with FTP, if you have Max Square package. You can also have an overview of your tags that are assigned to your contacts, and you can also in here create one. And now let's continue with communication channels we have here in GetResponse MAX, and let's start with email marketing. Here you can manage the newsletters, you can save and access drafts, do A/B tests, access your email templates, send RSS messages, and preload your emails. To create a newsletter, click on the big blue button and go to the email creator. Here you can create a name for the newsletter that will only be seen internally. You can add send from and reply to email addresses. You can write a catchy subject line and a preview text that will encourage your customers to open and read your newsletters. And you can select lists and segments to add as a recipient. It's worth to mention that will remove duplicates for you. You may have noticed that you can also link a list to the newsletter. This list is mainly there to set a configuration for your email, like the footer and the language of the footer, and it has nothing to do with email recipients. Now let's design a message. You can start by choosing one of our pre-designed templates, or by importing your own template as an HTML file and modify it in the HTML editor. For now, let's choose a ready-to-go pre-designed template and start working on it in our editor. Here on the right, you can choose a block that you want to add to your newsletter and simply drag and drop it anywhere you want for it to be placed. You can choose to add an image, text, button, video, spacer, divider, social media, and custom HTML. For example, we have just drag and dropped image. You can upload your images, or you can use free GetResponse images. Let's, for example, search here for a nice picture that we can add to our newsletter. You can edit an image, add a link to it, alter width and height, and you can align an image and go into advanced settings with it. And you can choose to hide this or any element on mobile devices, meaning that this section won't be shown to contacts that are reading your emails on their mobile devices. Now let's go back and add a section to our newsletter. You can add up to 6 column section and easily create any layout that you want. We can choose, for example, this section, add a text, and add a button. Every element in here can be personalized. You can change colors, fonts, alignment, structures, etc. The limit is only your imagination. You can add predefined custom values to better personalize an email for your recipient based on the information you have about your contacts. When it comes to other available blocks, you can add a product box and send your customers a specific product. You can choose which store you want to add your products from and select products. You can also alter the way you want to present your products. We highly recommend using AI product recommendations, as it will significantly boost your e-commerce conversions. This is a personalization at its best. You can display any recommended products for your customers. You can recommend bestsellers in store. You can go back to recently viewed products. You can show what others also viewed, bestsellers in category, what others also bought, and what was recently bought. You can choose to display up to 6 products, and you can basically just build your whole newsletter just with product recommendations. Also, in the e-commerce blocks, you have promo codes. Here you can choose a promo code that you have previously created in the system. And the last but not least, you can save the part of an email as your block. So you can use it later for any of your emails, and it will help you easily keep your newsletters in the same style. Now that you have your design and content ready, you can do a spam check. When you receive a green light, you're good to go. You can also send yourself a test message, do an inbox preview, and quickly look how your newsletter will look on the desktop and mobile. You can also compare both. You can even preview your email in dark mode to check how it will look when the colors are inverted. Once you are satisfied, you can save your email as a template to be reused later, or you can save it as a draft and exit. Let's click on Next. As for the tracking of the email, you can track the click-through rate to see who clicked on the links. You can enable e-commerce tracking to follow where your contacts go after they click on the link in your message. And you can track links with Google Analytics. Once you have Google Analytics configured and integrated, you can track traffic from your email campaigns. And this feature will make every link that you have in your newsletter to have UTMs that you can configure in your integration. You can send your message immediately, or you can schedule it for later. That's what's worth highlighting in here is that you could use perfect timing, or you could use time travel. With perfect timing, you can send your message at this specific time window when your contacts are very likely going to open and engage with your email. And with time travel, you can deliver your message at this specific local time, regardless the time zone. So for example, your message will be delivered to every contact at 9 a.m. sharp, no matter the time zone. And now you can send your emails as a draft or send it according to your settings. And now let's move on to another communication channel, which is SMS. SMS is an additional feature that is available if you have Max or Max Square package. Here you can create and manage all of your SMS messages. Please check your available funds and contact your dedicated person regarding the rates. Now let's create a text message. Similar to the newsletter, you can define your recipients and link a list. Here in this case, we will send your message to the contacts who have provided their phone numbers. You can add your name to from field, type your message up to this number of characters, and in description you can also shorten and track your links. You can also personalize your messaging, similar to what we have done in the newsletter. You can preview your message for both iOS and Android, and you can even preview it on a locked screen. Similar to newsletter, you can configure your sendout like so. Please keep country-specific regulations in mind. The SMS delivery time would also depend on that. You can also send your SMS messages using automation scenarios that we will discuss in the end of the video. And now we can move to the next communication channel, which is web push notifications. This can be a great addition to your omnichannel marketing campaigns. This type of communication differs from the previous ones. The customers first have to confirm they want to receive push messages from you. You'll want to create a prompt where you would ask your customers for their permission to show them your notification. You can create a text, a button, and you would have to embed this service worker on your website in order for this to work. When your customers have agreed to receive notifications, you can create a web push notification. You can enter a name, a title, and notification text. Optionally, you can add a redirect link with UTMs and track it in your Google Analytics, and you can also add image and icon. You can also add action buttons, and you can preview your notification on Windows, Mac, Android, and on different browsers. You can then send your web push immediately or schedule it for later. You can also set notification lifespan. In here, there's no option for perfect timing or time travel, as this is a different type of communication. Also, you are sending your notification only to users who have given their consent, and here you can see the number of your notification subscribers. You can also use web push notification as a part of automation. The next what can be useful is transactional emails. The functionality is different compared to, for example, marketing emails, as they contain information regarding order confirmation, password resets, and in general, e-commerce transactional information. And it can also be triggered from API level. You can also have a different IP address for the transactional emails, so they will not get mixed up with your other communication. This additional functionality is available for Max and Max Square, same as SMS. You can see the history of the sent transactional emails and general statistics. Next, we can discuss managing webinars in GetResponse MAX. Here you can create and manage live and on-demand webinars and access webinar recordings. Let's create a webinar in here. You can add a webinar title in here, set basic settings such as webinar URL, date and time, a webinar duration, and a lobby message that your attendees can see before the start of the event. Also, you can decide if you want your attendees to previously register to your event. And if you are hosting a private event, you can also create a password that your attendees would have to use if they want to enter your webinar. When you have everything configured, you can click on Create, and you are all set. Here's the link for your attendees to join. and we will join as a presenter. You can add your name and click on join. Once you have your camera and microphone checked, you can go live and choose to prepare the event before your attendees arrive. First thing you could do is to check on your attendee list. When you go to the settings, you can enable the attendees to see who is joining your event. You can have up to 500 attendees. You can also modify chat settings. You can enable it for attendees and enable chat moderation. When you go to the options on the left, the first thing you have is a preview of your web camera. You can also add a presentation, so you won't have to share your screen. You can use a whiteboard if you want to show something precisely, like for example, if you want to put an image here and draw something concrete on it. Here you can share your screen. Also, you can paste a YouTube video in here. You can create a survey if you wanted to ask some questions for your attendees. You can enable Q&A mode and the questions will appear in here. And for example, if you are conducting a sales webinar, a call to action option can be very useful when you are promoting your product or service. And you can also live stream your webinar on YouTube and Facebook. Every attendee can also choose a language for a webinar menu. This is very useful if you are hosting an international event. The attendees can join via desktop or mobile just from an invitation link without needing any additional installations. And that's it when it comes to managing webinars. Now let's go back to tools and create a landing page. For that, you can use our standard landing page builder and you can create it using our website builder. And this is a more advanced option. Let's create a landing using website builder. I can quickly show you an example that we have that was created in our website builder creator. You can add a video, as you can see, as your section background. You can add a media gallery. And what is very useful is that this landing can have other page tabs. You can have a contact us page, and you can choose to have a page tab that can only be visible for specific users. Now let's go back and start building our landing page in the creator. You can use a pre-designed proven template, and you can generate a personalized template using AI templates. Let's start with ready templates. You can pick a template from a library and quickly sort it by category. When you click on Use Template, it will redirect you to our drag and drop builder. First thing that you can do is you could manage pages. You can choose which tabs you want to show to your users. You can easily delete a page and add a new one in here. You can, of course, fully customize the look of your landing. And here you have even more options than, for example, an email editor. Timer can be a very useful element if you want to count down time to, for example, your event. Similar to email creator, you can save blocks and reuse them later. What also is very useful is here in the global design, you can define a color palette and a general style for your whole landing design. For example, you can set a different color for your CTA buttons, and it will dynamically change for the whole template. You can customize fonts, buttons, etc. When publishing your landing page, you will have two options. First, you can connect your domain, and second, you can use a free GetResponse domain. So in general, you can go ahead and build your landing pages using this comprehensive website builder. Now, let's quickly create a landing using AI-powered builder. First, you can set what type of business do you have. Then you can select a site type and go to the next step. You can then choose what features you want to include in your landing. Then you click Next. Then you can select a suggested design look, upload your logo, and if you already have a specific design you would like to follow, you can import it here. And lastly, you can enter your company details here. And now let's make the magic happen. And here you can pick a suggested design for your landing and customize it the same as for the option before. Now let's create a form or a pop-up. Go to Create, and here you can choose how would you like to display your message, in a pop-up or embed in your page. The process of creation will be exactly the same when it comes to the editor. So here we will choose a pop-up. And now we can pick a template from the library and go to the editor. Here on the right, you can edit the pop-up settings and add a new element. Similar to other editors, you can just drag and drop those elements to your template. Here you can also add sign-up form and a contact form and later customize all of the fields. The only field that is required to be included is an email. The template is also fully responsive, and you can preview how it would look like in your page or on mobile devices. You can also show your message in a pop-up box, sliding box, screen, full screen pop-up, and a bar. You can choose the position and fully customize the design. You can also check the thank you message in here. Then when you click on Next, you can choose your audience. You can show it to all of your page visitors, only new or only returning, choose devices, and select a country. You can also choose triggers. For example, you can choose to show your message to a visitor who got to a specific section on your page. You can also set up timing for your pop-up. You can schedule it, set frequency, and set display rules. Then when you click on Next, you will receive information about the code that you would have to implement in your website. In general, forms and pop-ups are very useful, and they can help you grow your new list of contacts. Now we can move on to the reports, which is a full panel of analytics that we gather here in the GetResponse platform. You can select a date range, and you can also download a report as a PDF, Excel, and CSV file. What you can see here is a general performance of your email marketing with standard statistics. Also opens and clicks over time that are also divided by the device. You can also access sent messages, reports, and you can even click on a specific newsletter and analyze it more. Here you can see the summary of the send out, information regarding recipients, and you can check opens and clicks. And if you scroll down in here, you can also access a click map that will show you where your contacts have clicked the most and the least on your message. To better analyze it, you can desaturate an email preview that will turn your email in black and white, so you can better analyze your statistics that have a color scale. When you go back, you can also check the bounces of the specific email, unsubscribes, spam complaints, and you can check the details statistics of email domains. And when you go back, you can also check those for your general statistics. You can also check a performance of your automation messages by overviewing a general performance and automation messages sent. You can analyze general information about all of your contacts, contact trends over time, list trends, and see how the contacts were added and deleted. You can also access e-commerce reports and track the results recording your orders, revenue, and order history. You can also generate a custom report. You can set it to be delivered via email, also on a regular basis, and via FTP. And here you can create, in addition to these report types, other ready and predefined reports, or request a custom one. For this information, you can get in touch with your dedicated support person. Let me also quickly show you our e-commerce tools. Here you can have an overview on your connected stores and orders. You can also create and activate quick transactional emails. You can easily create and an order confirmation and embedded cart emails. What is worth to mention that quick transactional emails work only for the integrations. You can see that email creation looks the same, and you can choose a pre-designed template that has been specifically designed for this type of communication. Here you can also create a promo code and synchronize them with your integrated store. Speaking of the integrations, let me show you how it looks like here in GetResponse. So when you go to Integrations and API, here you can easily connect with your store. You can connect with Shopify, Magento, PrestaShop, WooCommerce, etc. To access GetResponse web services, you would need an API key that you can generate in here. If you haven't used your API key in 90 days, you would need to generate a new one. API key is valid per account. And now we can move on to the last part of our getting started video, which is automation. This function will link all of the other tools that we have in GetResponse MAX. You can create a workflow that will be planned change of events. You can choose one of our ready-to-use proven templates, or you can build it from scratch. First, you would want to add a name for your workflow and choose a starting point. When you enter the editor, you can see that we have conditions, actions, and filters. So conditions will be the thing that will trigger your automation process to start. Actions will allow you to perform activities in response to the automation triggers. And you can use filters if you would want to separate all kinds of automations depending on different data and criteria. Let's, for example, start our workflow when someone subscribes to our list. When you click on the element, you can configure the properties here on the right. Then you can choose to send a message to those who have subscribed to your list. And to activate the action, you'd have to connect the elements like so. Now you can choose a message you would want to send. To avoid sending it twice to the same contact, you can send it only to unique recipients. If you want to know who has actually opened your message, you can drag this condition in here, which is message opened, connect it in here. And now you can check another condition, which is have your contacts actually clicked on any links in the email. So you are going to move this condition over here to the side and connect it to the yes connection point. And here you can also specify the links that you want to track. If a recipient hasn't opened an email that you have sent, so you can assign them a tag and mark them as an inactive contact. You can add a score to your contact if they have opened and clicked on the link in the message. For example, you can reward them with 100 points. Now, if they have opened an email but just skimmed through it, you can also mark them as inactive with another tag. You can just put it in here, connect it with a no point, and assign. Now, for example, you want to wait before you do another action, so you can add a wait element in here, connect, and in here you can set when you would want to continue with the next action. And after an automation has been on hold for 1 day, in this example, you can send them another message. You can also send them an SMS message, a web push, assign custom field, etc. As for the other conditions that can start the automation, you can choose from these e-commerce conditions. For example, whenever a purchase has been made or someone has abandoned a cart, etc. And that's how GetResponse MAX looks like with all main tools and features. If you have watched the whole video and worked through the platform with me, then big kudos to you. Thanks for watching this getting started video, and see you in the next video.